Okay, what else have I not made a video on? Oh boy. School. I mean, it's mostly okay, but sometimes stuff can get, weird. The school I go to is private, so it's pretty low budget. They have to hire a lot of teachers who are volunteers without a very strict policy on degrees. I have 3 major teachers this year. Ms. Davis, who teaches English and writing, she's really cool, and I think she knows how to make videos? I don't know. There's Mr. Foskield, who teaches social studies and religion, and, well, I'll get to him later. He's quite a character. And finally, there's my math and science teacher, whose fake name will be Mrs. Bread. You'd get it if you knew her. At our school, there is a discipline system based on numbers. If you do a certain thing wrong, you get a number based on what you did. Like 2 means you're a jerk. 3 means you didn't bring the right junk to class. Nobody uses 1, 4, or 6, so I forgot what they meant. But 5, the most common, is if you talk when you shouldn't. If you get 1 number, it's just a warning. If you get 2 of the same number, though, you have to stay inside for recess. Well, we call it break, but whatever. If you get 3, you have to stay in and do a copy-pasted writing assignment, and if you get 4, demerits. So going back to Mrs. Bread, she's always like, oh, I'm gonna give you 5s if you talk, but then she doesn't do it. But then if she's in a bad mood because of literally anything, she'll give out 5s in a big 5 spree. I don't get any 5s because, well, half the time I have no one to talk to in the first place. But the definitely not favorites in the class can yell all they like and never get a 5. Oh yeah, and Mrs. Bread, if you're watching somehow, I don't think you're a bad teacher. I just need to make my videos entertaining. I mean, this was all true, but still, you know what I mean. Okay, who else we got? Oh yeah, Mr. Foskield. He is exactly the teacher I would be. He lets us use past notes and finished papers on the test. Basically, he does really good teaching with really low effort. However, like I said, he's the teacher I would be, so he's not very patient with the students. Most of the people he goes full savage on totally deserve it, though. I mean, it's totally not a result of my mentality. There's also the cool teacher, Miss Davis. Mrs. Bread taught her when she was in middle school, and now Mrs. Bread copies some aspects from Miss Davis's class. Like, Miss Davis has a way to get us to shut up with giving minimal 5s. If she says the word pineapple, we all have to shut our faces, because if we make any form of word-based communication after she says that, we get automatic 5s, and she'll actually give them. Now, in Mrs. Bread's class, she copied the whole pineapple thing, but if she says pineapple, everyone just keeps on talking, and literally nothing is done about it. Okay, now that you know the teachers and stuff, on to the stories. We hold middle school student council elections every year, and I wanted to represent our class for Stuco. So I got to rallying, I put a sign on my locker, because if you run for a class position and not a middle-wide position, you can't post posters around the school. It's not important. I had a lot of people say they'd vote for me. On the day of elections, I was feeling pretty confident, and I was ready for the teacher to call my name. We got to the part where we did nominations, and anyone could nominate anyone. Now, I was nominated, and one other stinker who was also running got nominated as well. Now, let me remind you, our class has only 15 people in it at this point. So a third person raises their hand. I nominate Jimbo! What? Jimbo isn't even running. Jimbo said he'd vote for me. I nominate Roger. Roger! How dare he! After a while, nearly everyone in the class was nominated at the last second. Meow Jr. was also nominated, but he said, yeah, I'm still voting for you. So, I still had people voting for me. Since we had 1 boy representative and 1 girl representative, one of my friends whose fake name will be Kylie asked me to vote for her, and I was like, well, yeah, if you vote for me. And she was like, okay. So, I had at least 3 people voting for me, and all these other questionable people would have 1 vote. Themselves. The moment when the polls came in arrived. Okay, class, be quiet or I'll give 5s. The winner of the girls' representation thingamabobber is Kylie. And the boys is... And I'm thinking, hurry up and say it already. The boys' representative for this class is Simmy. What? Timmy! I wouldn't be so outraged if it were the other dude who said he'd be running from the start, but Timmy just decided to run at the last second. And I'm not saying I cried, because I don't cry, but I totally cried, guys. But I found out the meetings are during lunch, so after a while I thought, wait, why would I want to not talk to Steve during lunch and instead sit in a room with a bunch of secretaries while I can't actually give my ideas without the approval of the middle school popularity contest winner, aka the Stuco president? And now I'm glad I don't have to go to board meets. One time in elementary school, I had a pet fish named Rocky, and I really wanted to bring him in for show and tell. But how am I supposed to take a fish into school, I thought. But eventually we found out about this fish travel cup thing, so I was able to bring him into school, and needless to say, we didn't get much learned that day. On the subject of pets in class, throughout the entire 5th grade year we had a pet bearded dragon who we could hold at the end of the day. Now, I don't know how to end this video aside from part 2 coming soon. Hey, you might have heard some other voices in this video again. That was Jello Gamer again, and he's gonna be doing a lot of voices pretty common. I'll try to leave links to him in the description of all the times that he does it, but if you don't see him there and another voice was there, that was his. Yeah, you know where to go. Bye.
I am Jello Gamer and I approve this message.